Alright, so this is what you guys should have on your screen right now. This is where we left off last week. Last week we talked about revolves and revolve cuts a little bit. This week what we're going to talk about is 3D pattern. So the same pattern tool we used in Sketch, we're going to do it in 3D. We're also going to do a mirror. Same tool we used in 2D, we're now going to do in 3D. So first thing I want you guys to do is select this outer line, the point on this line. And we're going to start a new sketch. Okay, so won't let us start a sketch on a line. So what you have to do is create a plane. And what I went to was reference geometry, drop down menu, and I hit plane. Everyone got this so far? It's not doing it. I'll look at it. I'll look at it after we're done here. So we got this. Now, since we had that line selected, it defaulted my first reference point to be that circle going around, and it assumed this is what I wanted. So you have options, perpendicular, but we want it coincident. And you can add up to 3 references. The reason there's 3 is because if you select an individual point, you need 3 points in a space to identify a plane. So hit OK. Now you can rename this plane, because once you get into some more advanced models, you're going to have a lot of planes, a lot of reference planes, datums. So double click on the plane. Sometimes it's finicky. And just rename it. I'm going to call it front. Nope. Front face. Just enter. You're done. So now it calls it up here in the top left-hand corner of this plane. It just says front face. It's good to label and organize your parts as you work your way through. Another thing I'm going to show you, now we're talking about organization, is how to organize some of your tools you've already used. So your extrudes, your revolves. So all this stuff up here, from here to here, I want to now compress that into one file. That's all just a basic wheel. So what you can do is you can select the first one, hold shift, and go to the last revolve cut, and now you selected everything. Right click, where's it at? Oh, add to new folder. Now I just condensed everything into a folder, and I'm just going to call this wheelbase. So once you get to using 100 or so different features to make one part, it gets very complex. So you want to start labeling things to where you would understand where they were at. Just make sure it makes sense to you, because you're going to have to be finding these points later to make changes. So did that. Now just to find all those tools are still there, just drop down menu underneath it. So now we're going to go back to our front face we just selected, and we are going to start a new sketch. Spacebar, normal 2. Okay, so I'm going to zoom into the top here. Oh, didn't want to do that. And I'm going to make a reference line just straight up. And I'm going to zoom in on this surface and convert the outer perimeter. Hit OK. I'm going to offset that surface. However far you want to do, just make it look visually similar. I'm going to do 3. Hit OK. So now I have this inner line goes all the way around the part and the outer line on my sketch. Make an arc, 3-point arc. Make sure they connect. Make it look similar to something like that. Has everyone got this so far?
I got lost. Where is it out the point? Now where do we go? Zoom in.
On the plane, right? Vertical. Yeah. Sketch in the top, bottom of my screen. Got a sketch symbol with a little, yeah, you just click that line. The drop down. So we have the center, left, yeah, sketch, building, and one that we want. Start right. Yeah, click left, and then you can go down. And click it this time. Yeah. So you're trying, what are you trying to do next? The outer circle? Yeah, you can convert it. Convert it, and then click over it. Yeah, from there? How much did you offset by? What's that? How much did you do offset by? 3. And then you can put an offset. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Then you choose there.
And then you made a 3-point arc between the two?
Yes, just on the one side.
Yeah.
So has everyone got this on the screen now?
And that last one was an arc?
Yeah, there's different arc tools. You want to use the 3-point arc. That's the one I prefer the most. Unless you're trying to, design something that's already existing and you know the diameter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you haven't done the extended circle there. Okay, so have you converted that one? Okay, so put that also then. Yeah, you can just convert it. Yeah, it's already converted. So you can click on that.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up here to trim. I'm going to trim out these lines on the side here. And that left me with, hit OK, left me with this line here. This highlighted blue line from this point to this point. It's kind of hard to see, so I zoomed in for you. Okay, I won't do that. Okay, so what I did, hit trim, left click, hold and drag, and you want to come over this line and this line. Now what that does is it trims all the way up to an intersection.
Yeah.
So that's all that does. So now I have this half component, but I don't have a closed sketch. And the reason I put that center line is because I knew that this was going to be a symmetrical object. My design intent was to make it symmetric. So instead of me having to do 2 arcs and do 2, I'm going to use mirror. Select everything and about center point. And hit OK. And you should have that sketch on your screen. Let me know when everyone's there. Where's my flash?
It's called V3 Yeah. Select those 2 lines in the mirror. Drag it. You got this in mirror about, and then click this.
wait one more second. Everyone has this on their screen, just to make sure.
Down here.
You also have every compass for bottom part.
The reason I grabbed the bottom part is because I wanted to close sketch. I'll just let you know I'm making it here. So you might want to make it a little bit more here-like. So the reason it's small at the top is because it is here.
If I reduce this one, we'll reduce it.
I'm sure if you reduce it one side, if you neared it. That's the purpose of it. Is to go, you don't have to change two dimensions, just change one now. And the other side follows. So if you want this arc to be less, put a dimension on it. Smart dimension. So start one. Go on to the side, just go try two. Anywhere you want. I'll try it two. So, okay, we'll get it away. Double click on the dimension. And actually, that little bar below it, that's one of the advantages of using Mira as much as you can. It reduces the amount of work you have to do. And it keeps things more parametric to where the user can't make a mistake. So.
Did you delete the line on the bottom?
I just trimmed this side here,
okay.
and then trimmed all the way here, and then I revolved it.
You didn't delete these two lines, right? Oh, I didn't hear that line.
No, not trim. No, it's not.
Okay, yeah, so I couldn't see it from here.
No worries. Sorry to tell. That's why when I made it, I actually highlighted it, because it's really hard to see on top of the model.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to close this sketch. And we're just going to extrude this. Simple extrude, same thing we did last time. Go up here to extrude. It's going to guess the sketch we just worked on. And I'm actually going to change it to vertex, I think is what I used. No. Might not have done this. Nope.
I don't think that's what you want.
No, and I can't look up on my... Actually, I can. Give me 1 second here. I have a cheat sheet on my computer that I already built it on. I did blind. Okay, so I didn't use a parametric here. I did just blind, and I just took it out roughly that far. Huh?
I think if you hover over the circle, it'll try to get itself for that.
No.
And as you were pulling the arrow, it wanted to extrude that.
Let's try it again. Just because. No, doesn't want to snap to it. That's okay. Blind usually means that it's just dimension driven. It's not, doesn't matter where it's at in the model. So we're just going to use blind for this one. Normally you would want to constrain it to an edge. Which I can't remember which one I have to use here.
So do you just have to try to line it up perfectly?
Huh?
It won't self-lock there?
It won't self-lock. So if you change the diameter, it will stay the dimension you define it. It won't change with that line.
So manually we're going to have to change it.
Yeah, we won't be changing in this model though.
Okay.
There is a tool under. I just can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, and don't want to show you guys me messing around with it and then confuse you. You know, just because I'm going to be doing it quick. So, but we're just going to keep it blind for now.
How did you select it? It's not selected. Like, how did you select it to pull it out?
Means you don't have something wrong with your sketch. Oh wait.
First of all, you're on 20.
And then pitch distance. And you can come over here and just change it.
Yeah, but how were you trying it? You know how you were just moving it like back and forth? That's what I was wondering.
Usually it shows up as soon as it's hit cancel. Do it again.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to.
I did it last year, and then I stopped it to try to make it more
Yeah, it's out.
Oh,
Other way.
I don't. I don't know how you did that.
How did that even? I mean, I was doing it on the.
Just select the next step.
No, there's a way to do this. For now, you don't have anything there, so it's creating a thin feature. That's not the
The next step is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to hit OK. Now I got this tooth from a gear on here. So what I want to teach you today is called pattern. And it is in the 3D realm now, not 2D pattern. So up here under linear pattern, you're going to hit this drop down. We're going to go to circular pattern. Select the axis first. It wants to know what am I revolving it about. So I'm going to select the center axis. Now if you don't have these on your screen, these center lines for these holes, hit this little glasses up here, and it should be this option right here should be highlighted, and that will show the center line of every hole or every circular feature on your part. So now you should have this on your screen, and if it doesn't automatically select the part you want, so say you have this, you have the axis selected, but it's not auto-selecting the part you want to pattern, you go to this box here, and you select the component you want. So we're just going to we want it equally spaced. We're going to just keep it. You can change it from, controlling the angle it revolves, and how many of them go that distance. But we want to do equally spaced, so it automatically defines the angle. And just up the number. And let's put 12 in. Hit OK. And you got it. Does everyone have this on their screen? 12. Chris, take at it. Okay. All right. So next thing we're going to learn is we're just going to make another reference plane. Yes.
What's rebuild error?
That means your part failed.
I guess that's like.
You actually just give up.
So this one decided to come out like that, but the rest came out the size.
Oh, you didn't copy the feature as well.
Right.
So you're going to need to revolve that one too. So,
Can I read you that step?
you need to reduce circular patterns. So, features select that and that.
Oh,
You
both.
won't let us select both? Why? There we go. And your center line is like that. Yeah, it's perfect. Cool.
I got a special one. It's like, what are you gonna make a daisy? There's a 3D printer on campus, right?
Sort of.
Sorry, why is it like a rapid prototyping printer?
There's one in the machine shop, and you can pay to use it. You just have to pay material. It's expensive. It's not like free for students, but very
If it was free for students, that would be amazing.
Yeah. We're still working on that. There's another one we're trying to fix.
But machine costs, I mean, material costs, what's that? I mean, what are they using, plastic or
Yeah,
what?
yes.
What do you have to do to 3D print something?
For the machine shop,
No, I mean like if I wanted to 3D print this,
you would export an STL file, and that's it.
so you would just draw this up and then
Export an STL. You also have to change the.
is that like a way of saving it? Like as
It's a file. So usually a file save as and STL is an option.
Okay.
And you have to change the unit. You have to change the dimension because SolidWorks does Y up and 3D printers do Z up.
Okay.
So you have to change the dimension of that.
I've always wondered like how hard it is to do that. So it's not very hard.
I have a 3D printer at home.
Oh, okay.
Do it all of them.
That's pretty awesome.
Unfortunately, my laptop doesn't work with it. Because when the that one driver.
You want
You
to
go to so many different problems.
What is it? Hold on, it's terrible. Is that one driver before?
Do you have one of the like mass-produced ones that they just sell?
Mine was a kid. I think I told her about sorry about it.
And how's that work? I mean, is it actually reliable?
It's not reliable in any way. None of them are.
Okay.
Even in 2000,
So
not
next thing we're going to go over is
They're all hobby.
mirroring in 3D. Same command you did in 2D, it's just this is in 3D. Now instead of mirroring about an axis in 2D, in 3D you need to mirror about a plane. So we have to make another reference plane we want to mirror about. So let's go back to what we did earlier. Reference plane, we're going to make a new plane. Now I want to get a plane straight down the center of this wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the line we selected last time. It will let me select that line. No, it won't. Okay. So
Just that little thing.
yeah, let's select the inner line here. Come to this side, select the same line. Alright. Sorry about that. Let's delete both those. So I'm right clicking on these and I'm deleting. Instead of the line, you want to select the face. So that selects the line, that selects the face. See the difference? How it goes from a bold line, a bold, to a light. So now my face is selected, and select the same face on the other side. Now it auto said I'm going to do the midpoint. It guessed what you were trying to do. So that's what we wanted, so we're going to hit OK. These options are similar to constraints. You can get pretty creative with your reference planes, and sometimes you have to for advanced geometries. So, OK. Come back to this one. Come on. Midplane. Okay, so now we have our midplane. Now we're going to come up here to mirror. It's up in the top, in the center of the screen here. We're going to select our faces to mirror. I'm sorry, I think this is one which selects the plane, yeah, and then the face for next. Correct. So what you have to do is you have to select your reference plane, what you want to mirror about first. Wish I would have threw that word in there. And then what you could do, you should select each individual tooth. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down on this menu, and I'm going to go to the pattern, and it does everything I just patterned. So instead of selecting each individual tooth, you just select the tool that you patterned it with, hit OK. Now you got a mirrored gear. And 3 weeks ago I showed you we would make this, and that's what we just made. So, questions that's all I have for you today. I have a practice part for you guys to work on. It is a little complex. The reason being is I want you guys to use all the tools we learned in the past 2 or 3 weeks and figure out how to make this part on your own. Now, I keep throwing these little parts in here to get you guys to think about this stuff and how to use the tools. It's more important to learn how to use tools in any CAD program because you can take those exact tools to another CAD program. For example, Pro E has the exact same setup. The tools might be called a different name, but they do the exact same thing. So learning how to CAD is a very